of items that people buy and think they're investing. One really is investing, and the other is if you buy something, a farm, an apartment house, or in the interest of a business, and look to the asset itself to determine whether you've done something, what the farm produces, what the business earns, and so on. You don't really care whether the stock market's open. You can do that on a private basis. In fact, you do it on a private basis if you buy a farm or an apartment house generally. And it's a perfectly satisfactory investment. You look at the investment itself to deliver the return to you. Now, if you buy something, Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency, you don't have anything that's producing anything. You're just hoping the next guy pays more.
Hey, Dave, how's it going? It's an honor to speak with you and Ken.
You too, sir. What's up?
Hey, so I've been looking a lot at cryptocurrency, and I know you guys are a little against it. It's pretty hostile in that environment. I have about 3,800 saved up from working my job, and I just want to know what are the best investments to really look at and where to go about it.
Hostile? What do you mean hostile?
Well, hostile where the validity of it, where
the volatility.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, I mean, you have to set your investment goals with what you believe is your best path to becoming wealthy. Otherwise, you wouldn't do the investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay. All right. So when I was 24, I made a lot of mistakes buying things that I thought would make me wealthy quickly and easily. I bought a lot of nothing down real estate. I went broke as a result. I bought gold futures once. A buddy of mine had a stockbroker, Ken, a friend of his. It was a gold guy, and he had the ticket. He had it figured out. He had the formula. And he had hit buying. I don't know, the way a future works, you purchase it at a price, and if it goes under that, if the price is under that, when you get to that date, you get zero. If it's over that, then you get a multiple of what you've put in. And so I bought a future, put $5,000 in that I didn't really have. That's about all I had. Put the whole $5,000 in because this guy had hit 14 times in a row on his prediction. Wow. I mean, he was amazing. He was like a gold savant. He had it all figured out. I mean, 14 times he had hit, and the future made. And so the rate we went in at, I put $5,000 in, and it was a 10x. If it hit, I was going to make 50 grand. It was his 15th try, and we all know where I'm going with this, right?
Oh yeah.
You can see where the story's going. You know he missed on that try, and my little bitty $5,000 net worth was just evaporated based on my attempt to make 50,000 in 90 days off of 5,000. Bitcoin's hot. Your crypto's hot. A lot of people making a lot of money on it right now. It is, as you said, Michael, very, very volatile. And so it falls, for me, an old guy, under the heading of getting rich quick. And I have not found many people that get rich quick.
These are the 3 reasons I don't invest in cryptocurrencies even though I have a net worth of over $1 million. 1, it's way too volatile for me. 2, it doesn't provide any cash flow like dividends or interest. 3, there are no places I go to that accepts crypto as a form of payment. Instead, I'm more conservative and keep some of my money in a high-yield savings account and get interest like this every month. Here are some places that you can open one up like SoFi. I also like to invest my money in the S&P 500 and collect dividends like this, and sell covered call contracts to collect premiums like this. You can start investing with any of these brokerages here. I'll talk more about investing for beginners in my next class. See you soon.
Bitcoin is down more than 75% in the last year. Crypto exchanges and lenders are going bankrupt left, right, and center. Celsius and Voyager led the way, with FTX just recently going bankrupt itself. And with the scandal that appears to be FTX stealing a whole bunch of money from its clients. And with everything that's going on in the crypto world right now, you have to be pretty much crazy to invest in cryptocurrencies. Any of them at this point.
I got to be honest, that was that was pretty hard to watch, to listen to. Being involved in cryptocurrency is like literally like being like Neo in the Matrix. Like you see everybody walking by and everybody is like, interacting with the simulation and everything. And it's like you are the only one that knows what's really going on. Like that's really how it feels. right? And little by little, you're just able to take people out of the matrix. You're just able to be like, yo, bro, like, let me show you something. Step inside this phone booth, bro. Like, step inside this building right here. You think people is in this building. There's nobody in this building. But if you go up in this room and you press this button, you'll go through this wall. It's a whole nother world. Like, that's literally how it feels. Okay. I go by BSG. I've been involved with crypto now. Damn, I guess, wow, I can say 10 years. It was November 2013 that I got involved with cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. And I'm going to share what happened later, right? But first, I have to address some of the things that were said during that little montage. And, it's just a recycling of things that have been said over and over and over. And none of what was said was true. Beginning with Dave Ramsey. Shout out Dave Ramsey. I like Dave Ramsey. I like listening to him. I laugh at him a lot of times. Um, I can't believe that people let him talk to them the way that they do. That was new for me. But he's completely clueless about cryptocurrency. Completely. So he said he didn't know anybody that got rich with cryptocurrency. Well, this literally just came out. There was a study done, and it's been verified that over the last 10 years, over the last decade, crypto has created more millionaires than any other asset class. And look at this. Look how much more is created, more than Tesla, more than Amazon, more than Microsoft, Apple, right? And for those that say, oh, don't look at individual stocks, don't look at individual, you got to look at the indexes. Well, there's S&P 500, and coming in last is gold. I find that really funny. Right, and interestingly enough, they didn't talk about how much money was invested, starting capital, anything like that. Just, how many millionaires were created. Well, I can tell you definitively that most of the millionaires that were created in crypto, they're not coming in with like 500,000. They're coming in with 10,000 and less. And I've helped multiple people become millionaires on top of myself being a millionaire. And believe you me, I didn't start with a lot of money. I started with less than $10,000. Okay, so I'm in this number, right? And so I appreciate that, right? Hit the like button for that. I'm in this number, right? So yes, crypto has created more millionaires than any other asset class in the last 10 years. This is facts. This is nothing but facts. But here's this story or just, visual that was put on Reddit. I just want to read for you because I was taken aback by the comments. Like, again, this has been verified, and check out the comments. I'm not exactly fluent in finance, but comparing the entirety of crypto with individual stocks like Apple seems dishonest. I hate this comparison, but they did put S&P 500 in there, but they didn't include all of the failed crypto that went down an infinite percent. LOL, why not add a category for lotteries or poker while we're at it? This is so absurdly disingenuous. Now chart how many bankruptcies each has caused. Like, this is the comments. You have, I think, really one positive comment. This guy, maybe on paper, but they're all illiquid Ponzi schemes. So good luck getting your millions out in the real world. And here's a guy, Poopy Booty Hole, which he don't know how much you can trust Poopy Booty Hole. But he or she could be a she. I have a rather significant amount of Bitcoin to my standards, and I could get all that in my bank account. in 3 days easy. I can beat that. I can beat that. Okay. I do have a significant amount of Bitcoin, and I could literally spend that Bitcoin in the real world as quick as I could get to a restaurant, as quick as I could get to a store, as quick as I could get anywhere that accepts not Bitcoin, but accepts crypto credit cards, which I have. They're not credit cards, they say debit card. There's no financing or anything. It's debit cards, right? So you have your crypto and they're stored on these debit cards and you can spend them just like cash. It is the best thing in the world because, unlike cash, Bitcoin increases in value, right? So literally, like this just happened to me recently, right? I had dinner with the family and some other folk. Of course, naturally, I can't go out nowhere now and not, pull up the bill. Like it's always on me, right? I'm always paying for everything. But literally, I had this dinner, right? And it was a decent amount. And by the next day, Bitcoin had gone up so much that it had paid for the dinner and significantly, like way past the dinner. And it's up significantly more than that. That was like a couple weeks ago. Bitcoin is probably up another 15% from that, right? Cash, you're never going to have cash and not do anything, not work, right? Not service clients, not do anything and have it turn into more than what you put in. That's not going to happen. That is just, one aspect of Bitcoin. But we have to talk about some other things as well. Warren Buffett, who, I have a lot of respect for. But again, when it comes to Bitcoin, Warren Buffett, might be the smartest, dumbest person, in finance to talk about crypto. Okay. He said that, you're just looking for somebody to, buy Bitcoin to pay a higher price than you. First of all, isn't that how most stocks operate? Most stocks are not profitable in terms of their balance sheet, right? So most stocks are not kicking out a dividend, right? So that's how most investments work. In fact, I'll take you a step further. You know what investment that you're looking for to go up in value, and you're looking for somebody else to pay more? A house. When you buy a house and you live in that house, how is it that that house is generating income? Unless you have somebody living in a house with you, unless you have a board, of which many people are doing, right? Dangerous to me, bro. You want to talk about dangerous? Having somebody stay in your house, right? Or I just saw a situation where, this Airbnb, somebody stayed in their Airbnb for like, 500 and something days, and the law allowed them to do it. And they weren't paying any money, weren't paying any rent, nothing, just staying up in their house. Crazy, right? But when you buy a house and you live in it, you're not expecting to make a profit on in terms of a income on that, right? Not only that, it's a liability. Okay, according to this report, homeowners spend up to $6,000 on average on repairs and maintenance, not taxes, just repairs and maintenance of the property. Here's Warren Buffett himself. This is his own words. A house can be a nightmare if the buyer's eyes are bigger than his wallet. Okay, first of all, a little bit of a sexist statement, but his or her, bro. Like women don't own properties, right? So you can tell, women, yeah, they all know, just stay in the kitchen, they don't really know anything about investment, right? You can tell the era that that he's from, right? But here's what's crazy. despite living in your house literally being a liability. It is. I am a homeowner. I'm talking from experience. It is a liability. The amount of anything can break randomly. A tree can fall. I can't tell you how many times trees have fell in my backyard. I think I had a tree almost fall on my car one time, but I got saved by like a line. But it was a tree, and it didn't fall on the car, thank God. But one of the branches went through the window, and we had to get the window replaced. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all kind of things that can happen with the house. But do you know who owns a brokerage firm for houses? Mr. Warren Buffett. He owns Berkshire Homes, and they specialize in providing realtors to go and find you a house. So he is literally engaged in a business where obviously the only reason, or not the only reason, but there's nobody that wants to buy a house and get back less than what they bought it for. However, if you use these numbers, right? If you have the average house now is 400,000, let's just say they say you should calculate 1% a year for maintenance. All right, that's 4,000 a year. Okay, if you have a $400,000 house, and in 10 years that house is worth 450,000, would you think that was a good investment? Everybody gonna say, oh yeah, 10 years, 400, 450, you made 50,000. No, boo-boo, you didn't make anything, right? So let's not talk about the mortgage. Let's not talk about taxes. Let's not even talk about what you're gonna have to pay when you sell the house. Let's just talk about the maintenance. For 10 years, if the maintenance is held to 1%, you're gonna pay $40,000 in maintenance in 10 years. Assuming you were able to sell that house for $450,000 clean, then you would have netted $10,000. Except it's not going to be clean. Why? Because you would have had to pay taxes every single year. And on a $400,000 house, depends on where you live, that's going to be another 1 to 2% every single year, right? And this is if you own the house. This is if you don't have a mortgage. Now you have to factor the mortgage payments, and then of course you have to, at the end, when you get ready to sell their house, you have to factor that 6% that the realtors require from you, right? The ones that haven't lived in a house, didn't help you put down no grass, no concrete, nothing like that, right? Wasn't there to help you fix up the place, but they're going to get 6% of your house. So if you buy a $400,000 house and in 10 years it's worth $450,000, congratulations, you've lost money. But yet this man has the audacity to sit up here and say that Bitcoin, you're just looking for somebody to pay more. That's exactly what you're looking for with buying a house. Okay. Another thing that people say is, oh, Bitcoin is so volatile. Oh, it's so volatile. It's so scary. It's so volatile, right? Okay, check this out. Bitcoin has been less, I promise you, I didn't know this before I looked it up, but I had a feeling. Bitcoin has been less volatile than Tesla stock for months. Less volatile than Tesla stock for months, and they break it down. Okay? Bitcoin witnessed a below 1.25% daily move. That means on any given day, it moved less than 1.25%. 14 out of the last 27 days at the time that this study was done, okay, according to TradingView, right? So 52% of the time, it didn't move that much. It moved less than 1.25%. However, during that same window of time, Tesla moved more than 1.25%, 94% of the time. Only 6% did it stay within 1.25%. Yet people will scream from the rooftops that Bitcoin is volatile. Bitcoin is volatile. But yet Tesla and other stocks are significantly more volatile than Bitcoin. Okay, and we could just this might well be a good time to take a look right here. Okay, so let's talk about how Bitcoin has created the millionaires, what you had to do, and how volatile have we been. So let's just take a look at the last month first of all. Now I can tell you Bitcoin has been moving, baby. It's been moving, but is that the case? Are we really up 35% in the last month? That's crazy. I did not know that. Well, this has been volatile for the past month, but it's been volatile to your favor. See, nobody cares about the volatility as long as it's moving in your favor, right? But even from day to day, 34.4, 34.6, right? 34. So that was like a 2% move there. 34, 34, 34.6 again. This is 3 days later. 34.3. Haven't hardly gone anywhere. 34.2. Now we're moving. 35.2. That was a big day. It moved up. Okay. That was probably going to be one of your most volatile days. That was a 2-3% move right there. But I mean, this is pretty steady. And this has been literally one of the most volatile months for Bitcoin. But let's look at how those millionaires were made. Okay. The millionaires were made so far for people that got in Bitcoin here and held it. There's me buying Bitcoin back here. Okay, November 2013, I paid one of the highest prices ever for Bitcoin. Okay, I paid $1,000. I can tell you honestly, I did not know what I was doing. I didn't understand it. I did a bit of research. Yes, I was very good at analyzing stocks and things like that, but I did a bit of research and I watched one interview from one person. Actually, it was a couple people in the same interview, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know what this is, but man, this sounds exciting. I'm going to invest." And so literally all I did was sit on it and do nothing and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. That's all I have done. I didn't have to go out and cold call nobody. I didn't have to go out and sell no cookies. I didn't have to kiss nobody behind at the job. I didn't have to be on the assembly plant in the heat, right? I didn't have to get permission to use the bathroom, right? And let me keep it real, okay? I didn't know that Bitcoin was going to become this, obviously. But I had learned through my previous experiences, the one thing that Dave Ramsey said that was true. When you're younger, you're trying to get rich quick, okay? And I'm going to do a totally separate video. I'm going to do a different video focusing on young people, especially young minorities that are focused on Forex trading, and they're throwing their money away right now. Listen, I don't toot my horn a lot. Other people toot my horn for me. I appreciate that because, as I said, I've helped people become millionaires. I'm going to tell you as plainly as possible that I am one of the greatest Forex traders ever. Ever. Very few people in the world have the trading background that I have. If I wanted to, I could trade crypto and I could make a lot of money. I could trade Forex. It's very easy for me to do. I have developed systems that have worked over time. And I can tell you definitively that I make more money doing nothing than I do trading for. I make more money doing nothing in crypto than I do with Forex. You will never, ever, ever make enough money with Forex to support your family. I would tell you plainly, I have dared people. I've put up money on social media, a decent amount of money. Nobody took me up on the offer because nobody can produce what it is that I'm asking for. Okay, I'm gonna do a separate video on that. But contrary to that, and I'll just tell you, briefly, right? I'm always trying to help people, and so in this particular case, I was trying to tell my mom about forex. I'm like, Mom, I can teach you how to trade forex, and my mom, was gung ho excited. All right, I'm gonna learn this forex, right? And I started working with her, and I'm breaking down my system and everything like that, and all of the factors that I look for and all of that, and I'm focused on the screen, and literally I look over and my mom is asleep. She's asleep, right? Right. It was too much for her, whatever. She just fell asleep. Okay. My mom could have did what I did, just holding Bitcoin. Right? She could have did that, just doing nothing. So it's not only the fact that Bitcoin has made the most millionaires, it's also the fact that what did you have to do to earn that status? And the answer is nothing. All you had to do was invest and not sell. Invest and be patient. And wouldn't you know it, patience is the one thing that people don't have. That is the one advantage that somebody like a Warren Buffett has. He's more patient than everybody else. So that's why he makes more money than other people, because when other people say, hey, that's a bad investment, he stays patient. Okay? So that's the honest truth. Now I can tell you that there have been many other cryptocurrencies that have made me more money than Bitcoin, including something that I'm recently invested in that I'm not going to share in this video because I want to focus on the task at hand. You can watch my other videos from that. But there are things that I've been involved in recently where people have turned $10 into $10,000 in 6 months. Documented, shown, verified, no doubt about it. Right? And what do they have to do to earn it? Literally nothing. They invested $10. They did nothing for almost, it wasn't even 6 months. They did nothing for the whole time. And then next thing you know, they had 10,000. I don't even know this person, right? I know nothing about them, but you can, with crypto, you can verify all this information on the blockchain, right? So here's the thing. Here's what I want to focus on, right? With all the things that we've seen with the video montage and everything, everybody is telling you that crypto is so bad and that you should just get a savings account and you should just work hard and all of that. If that is the case, then how come so many people are struggling? If all you had to do was do what Dave Ramsey said, and what your teacher said, and what your family said, and the people around you, and those YouTuber influencers, if all you did was what they did, then you should be better off, right? Like if everybody knows the right thing to do, right? So if you do that, then how come everybody isn't okay? And that's called a clue, right? So here's one of the reasons why. And I hate this chart because this chart does not show you the truth. It's actually trying to dumb down the message here, because what this is showing is this is the annual inflation rate from 1990 to 2022. Okay. What you don't realize is each year it's on top of the other. So they make it seem like, oh, inflation is going down here. No, inflation did not go down. It might have gone down for that year, but it's still on top of everything else that happened, right? So I'm going to try to do this. I've never done this before, but let's say something cost $1 here in 1990. Let's say milk, because milk was pretty much like maybe $1 a gallon, maybe a little bit more, right? Definitely a gallon of gas for sure was like 99 cents or something in 1990, right? So here we go. I'm going to add the annual inflation to that and see what we get. So if we started at $1, we're now at $1.05. 4% over $1.05 is $1.09, $1.12, $1.15, $1.19, $1.23, $1.74. Notice how it's going up quicker, right? So you get the point. This is going up on top of the. So I bet if we stretch this out, while these numbers that don't look like much, what was $1 here is going to end up being $3 here. Okay, that's how that would, like, look at this year. What this year is saying is we had an 8% increase from last year. So if we were at 250 last year, that 8% increase takes us to like 270 something. You see what I'm saying? And this is just going to continue. This is what's robbing you. Right? And the media has conditioned us to use this word inflation like it's a monster, like it's a ghost, like it's an unforeseen thing, like, oh, you can't do anything about it. This is 1,000% controlled by capitalism. They don't have to charge more for stuff. They just do it because they can. Because you're not growing your own food, because you don't have a farm, right? Because because they made it so where you work, they did this on purpose in some areas. Where you work is not where you live. See, if you work where you live, you wouldn't need a car. So a lot of times they took jobs out of the cities and put them in the suburbs to force you to get a car. That was a multi-trillion-dollar industry that they literally created out of thin air. People didn't have cars before the 1920s and 30s and 40s, and everybody got them around just fine. Now, maybe it took longer, right? Maybe it was a stankier city with all the horse poop and everything, but they got around. And so if you lived in an apartment or something like that and you worked at the local, shop, or, you was a seamstress, or you polished shoes or whatever down the street, you didn't need a car, right? So they created this whole industry where you had to have a car. Now that's an additional expense. These are the things that are robbing you, yet everybody is telling you, hey, just follow this path. And so there's no wonder why 70% of Americans feel like they don't earn enough money. Now, this is just a feeling. I feel like I don't earn enough money. It doesn't mean that they're not, but just a feeling, right? And realistically, it's probably maybe half of that, like 40%, 45% that actually don't make enough. You know what I'm saying? Which is exemplified here. That despite, whether you believe it or not, there was a time where, minorities, black and Latino, weren't allowed to go to college. And so I can only speak from my perspective. All I heard as a young teenager was go to college, go to college, go to college. If you want to be on the same level as, these other folk, you're going to have to go to college. That was drilled into me. And that's why I went to college. Right? Luckily, I was saved, literally saved from spending 4 years in college. I had to talk about that another time. I got shot. So, call that being saved. But it really did help me. It really did. Like that, if I don't get shot, my whole life is that I probably don't even have enough money to invest in Bitcoin, which really wasn't enough, because I would have graduated with, student loan debt and things like that, right? But even though people have graduated college, they still make less money than their counterparts, right? Like today, more than 84% of college educated black households have student debt compared with 35% 3 decades ago. That's crazy. 84% have student loan debt now compared to just 35%. The debt is a median of 44,000, up from 6,000. It used to be 6,000, now it's 44. I've heard people talk about back in the early 70s and 80s that literally you could go to college for like a few $1,000s and that was it. Now you're paying six figures to go to college for, an industry or a job that's not promised to you, because unfortunately racism and colorism is really colorism. We're all the same race. Like that still exists. So even though you have a college degree, when you try to go get that job, it's not like it's a blind interview. The world would be more equal if all the interviews were blind. In fact, I think, like that's something that should be implemented. You shouldn't be able to look at the person to make a decision, because too many times, right, it's not minorities who are in the hiring positions. And because of comfortability, because of relationship, because of networking, because of stereotypes, because of fear, because of hair, right? All like some people don't get the job because of their hair. Literally, if you have a top degree but you have a big old afro, it's been proven that you lower your chances of getting a job. Right? But this is what's happening. But you're doing what everybody is telling you to do. You're doing what Warren Buffett said. You're doing what Dave Ramsey said. Dave Ramsey is the king of get another job. Oh, just get another job. Oh, that's all you got to do is get another job. Right? And then low income people are paying a higher price for college tuition. So not only is it not working as well, they're paying more. This is the system that you're in. This is the matrix. One of the reasons why I bought Bitcoin, one of the things that really stuck out for me, because I was having a problem at that time. At that time, I was, again, pretty good with stocks. And I was on a platform where I was sharing information about stocks. And I had built up, a okay following, a decent following, right? And they shut me down because people were following me. And, I had a website where I was giving information. And I had my link to that website on this particular site, StockTwits. I had a nice, okay following, a few thousand people. Right? And I was, writing stuff and putting out, information and charts and all that. And people was loving it. Right? And they shut it down. They suspended my account. And so privately, I'm like, okay, what's going on? I see other people are doing this. Why are you shutting down my account? Of course, my face was visible and all of that. And so, after some deliberation, they reinstated me. But I saw where it was going. So as soon as they reinstated me, I was like, yo, I'm not going to be on here no more. So if you want to follow me, follow me here. And like within like 10 minutes, they shut my account down forever. So what appealed to me about Bitcoin was I could invest in something and nobody knows that I'm investing in it. Nobody knows nobody knows that I'm black. Because throughout my life, I've had to contend with the fact that I'm black. And so people are judging me based on my appearance, versus what I know, versus the knowledge that I have. So that appealed to me. It's like, wait a minute. I can buy this and I don't need permission. I don't need a broker. Huh? Like I don't have to go through, a brokerage account at that time. And really, man, wish we could go back to those days. I don't need no ID. So it's like you can't discriminate against me. Anywhere where, black men or other minorities have to show their ID, discrimination is going to happen. So it appealed to me tremendously that I didn't have to show any so I knew that there were other people like me. Like this is literally the reason why I invested. I'm like, wow, there's going to be millions of people who just want to invest in this just on the simple fact that you don't have to show your ID and nobody knows how much you have and things like that. That's why I invested in it. And that's still a core reason, but Bitcoin is so much more now. It's way more. I understand more now. Right? So it had taken me, I don't know, I'm not going to tell my age here, but it had taken me, let's just say 30 years to get to where I was, which was nowhere. Right? Like if in the grand scheme of things, net worth scheme of things, I had failed. Right? And I was a pretty smart dude. I was, I always have been. But in the grand scheme of things, I had failed. And I had a best friend, we're best friend in high school. We grew apart. That ended up working at Morgan Stanley. Right? And he used to look up to me. And he ended up working at Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter. And I remember, talking to him on the phone one day. And he was like, yeah, man. So, I'm asking him, hey, how you doing? He was like, yeah, man, I'm at Morgan Stanley, da da da. I'm like, oh, wow, man, congratulations. And then he asked me, hey, so what are you doing? And so, I just had to avoid the question because I wasn't about to tell him that, I had just lost my business. I just lost my house. And, I was living in a house that didn't have floors. And, the realtor felt so bad for me and my family that, the realtor decided to use her own money to put plumbing in for us because we didn't have plumbing. I bought a house with no plumbing, no electricity, because that's all I could afford after everything that I lost. But I used some of that money to invest in Bitcoin, as crazy as I was. And my wife was like, what are you doing? Like, we don't even have a bed. We don't have floors, but you're buying this Bitcoin stuff. And so I'm saying that to say this, going back here, like I said, I didn't have a lot. Right? And so to say crypto has created more millionaires than any other asset class, I'm sure that people who invested in these stocks and everything had more money than me. Let's just put it like that. They had more money than me. Maybe this was 100,000 that they invested and it became a million. Maybe it was 50. For me, somebody from an impoverished background, somebody who had ran into some bad luck, somebody who was always trying to do the right thing, always had ideas and things like that. For me to become a millionaire with what I had, and again, doing what I did, which was absolutely nothing, is a testament to this system. And I am telling you, if you are someone there and you're looking at this and you're like, yeah, right, what is this guy trying to sell? I have nothing to sell you. If you buy Bitcoin, I make no money. Okay. And for those, Warren Buffett said, oh, look for something that generates revenue. Bitcoin does generate revenue. I don't talk about that in this video. I do talk about it in my course, which is not available to the public right now. So I still don't have anything to sell you. I am going to revamp that. But yes, Bitcoin does create revenue, and I make revenue from crypto every single day. I'm making money talking to you now. I'm not, and and the price doesn't have to go up for me to make money. Okay, people are just ignorant. Okay, but for me to have come to where I've come from and where I am now and what I've had to do to earn it, everybody who feels like I don't have enough should be in this. You should be in this. You owe it to your family. You owe it to just get in the industry. Right? Perhaps, like, I'm just going to keep it real. Unless you have, and I really shouldn't say this because your first investment should be Bitcoin. It should be Bitcoin. Trust me when I say Bitcoin is going to be $1 million. One Bitcoin is going to be $1 million. Right? And you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. But in order for you to make $1 million from Bitcoin, you're going to have to get a couple of them. Right? Just keeping it real. And I know there's some of you out there who have that. You got 100,000. If you got 100,000, you should buy 2 Bitcoin, and then you should watch my other videos for other stuff to put it in. Right? And for those that say, oh, what about all the investments that went down to zero? Like these guys said, name all the things that went down to zero. Because crypto is so new, yeah, there's a lot of things that have lost money. I've lost money before, never gone down to zero, but I have lost money. But when you're making 10 and 50 and 100 times your investment on the things that you invested in, if you invested equally, then you could care less about the 2 or 3 or 4 things that lost 50%. Because the other couple things went up 100x. Again, if you have $5,000 and you invest $4,000 in other things and they all go to zero, you've lost $4,000. But if you invest that $1,000 into something and it goes up 100x, then what do you have? You have 100,000. And so what have you done? You've turned 5,000 into 100,000. I have seen this over and over. Maybe not Warren Buffett, but others who have said crypto is bad and all that. Trust me, they have bought crypto themselves. They're invested themselves. And they don't want you getting out of the matrix. They want you to stay poor. I believe there's a YouTube video where the guy is literally telling people, don't tell nobody nothing. Keep them poor. Keep them poor. Like, what? That is a mentality that people have. I've had people ask me, hey, why do you give all this free information? Why do you tell people stuff? Why don't you just keep all this stuff to yourself? And that's the mentality that people have. I'm just not built like that. Because I've been down and out. Because I've been hurt. Because, I've had to look at my kids sleeping on the floor with roaches crawling on the floor, right? Because I've had to be in a situation where I'm sleeping on a couch and, we don't even have a bed. So, my wife and I are sleeping on the couch together, and the couch is, so the fact it wasn't even a couch, it was a futon. So, I'm sleeping on a futon and my wife is literally laying on top of me. I've been there. So I can't look somebody in the eye knowing that there's a chance that something can help them. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But what we know for a fact is that this doesn't work. They're going to keep charging you more for stuff because they can. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. We know that for a fact. So if you're out there complaining right now, oh man, inflation is killing me, and oh man, this capitalism is getting on my nerves, and I can't afford this and I can't afford that, right? But you're not doing anything about it. You're just talking about it. Then nothing's going to change. I do these videos so that, maybe perhaps it will strike something in you. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. So all I can tell you is what has worked for me. And this is the easiest, simplest, no cold call, no sales. You can be ugly. You can be fat. You can have stanky breath. Like, you can be the antithesis to everything that the world wants you to be, because don't let nobody tell you your looks don't matter. They do. People who are good looking, people who are tall and all that, they get better positions. They get management positions if you're taller, right? There's a reason why we've only had like 1 or 2 fat presidents. All that stuff matters. With crypto, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. It doesn't matter what your color is, what your background is, poor, wealthy, whatever it is. It's a decentralized thing, and it impacts everybody the same relative to what you invest. So I encourage you, do your own research, watch more of my videos, take whatever you can to invest, and then be patient. Don't look to get rich quick tomorrow or in 90 days or 6 months or even a year. It took me years. It took me years, right? That should be your mindset. It's your boy BSG. I'm going to holler at y'all in the next video.